Some people have been talking about their dream for 5 years, 10 years, maybe longer. They know exactly what they want. They can describe it in detail. They have researched it, planned it, imagined it. So many times it feels almost real, and yet nothing has moved. This is not about motivation. It is not about discipline. And it is definitely not about capability. The real reason is something psychology has quietly uncovered. And once you understand it, you will never see your own inaction the same way again. Here is what is actually happening inside the brain of someone who dreams big but never starts. Dr. Gabriele Erdingen, a psychologist at New York University, spent over 20 years studying how people think about their goals. What she found surprised even her. The more vividly someone imagines a positive future, the less energy their brain allocates toward actually achieving it. Not more energy, less. This happens because vivid positive fantasy triggers a response in the brain similar to actually experiencing the reward. The mind gets a taste of the destination without taking a single step toward it. And once that reward has been felt, the drive to pursue it quietly drops. In other words, the dream itself becomes the obstacle. But that is only the first layer. The second thing happening is something almost nobody talks about honestly. Big dreams feel safe as long as they stay inside your head. The moment you take a real step towards something, you introduce the possibility of real failure. And real failure means something about you, not just about the outcome. So the brain does what it was always designed to do. It protects you. It keeps the dream alive and beautiful and untested. It fills your days with planning, researching, and preparing. Everything that looks like progress but carries none of the risk. This is not laziness. Research confirms that procrastination on meaningful goals is almost always an avoidance of negative emotion, not an avoidance of the task itself. The brain is not avoiding the work. It is avoiding what the work might reveal. And here's the third thing, the one that will sit with you longest. Most people who dream big but never act are not people who care too little. They are people who care too much. The dream matters so deeply that attempting it feels like putting something sacred at risk. The business idea that never gets started is often the idea someone loves most, because as long as it stays a dream, it is still perfect, still possible, still completely intact. The moment you try, you find out. And some part of you has decided that not knowing is safer than knowing. Here is what that costs you. The dream does not survive waiting either. It fades quietly over years into something you used to talk about. Something you mention with a small smile and no eye contact. Something that became a story about who you almost were. That is not safety. That is a different kind of loss. What the research actually shows is that the gap between dreaming and doing closes when you stop imagining only the destination and start honestly facing the distance. When you hold both the dream and the obstacle in your mind at the same time, something shifts. The brain stops being tricked by the reward it has not earned yet. It starts calculating what it will actually take. And in that moment, for the first time, the dream becomes a direction instead of a destination. You were not given a big dream to carry quietly for the rest of your life. You were given it because somewhere in you is the capacity to move toward it. The only question that has ever mattered is not whether you are ready. It is whether you are willing to find out.